Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways, Coyote in the Highlands. I want to talk a little bit about goals, change, and signals, like signals of what it is that is important to you or what might be missing. I have a friend, he's older than me, and he's moving into a retirement phase of life. He's got a craft that he likes to do, and he's doing shows to sell stuff. But he's got some issues with getting out there, like the travel, the process. Like none of that is comfortable for him. It's always a bigger production. Like nothing's ever really ready to go. So there's a science to doing shows, and or an art to doing shows, and that is a technology to doing shows. That's what it is. A set of habits and systems. Build systems, not habits. Stuff that is just ready to go, that you prepare, make the travel easy, make the landing easy. Look at the area that you're going to see if you're boondocking in your car or van or truck or camper versus hotels. What are the costs of hotels? Stuff like that. Of course, it's much easier if you do a local show, craft show in your local area, like your farmer's market type stuff. And in a town of 8 to 15, maybe 20,000 people, that's rough because you saturate your market if you're doing durable goods, things that people buy and keep, not food. That doesn't, you saturate your market pretty quick. So this is one of the dilemmas of crafting, is that you saturate your market if you stay in one place. If you don't have resellable goods that keep people coming back for more, like your apple tree, right? Your avocado tree, your garden, stuff like that. But if you're making crafting durable items, like I used to make custom knives. Okay, it's a durable good. You can't just do a farmer's market in, say, a town the size of Davis or Kingman or Havasu. Well, Havasu, you have more travel, touristy stuff, but you can't do a farmer's market in one of the medium-sized towns forever. You have to branch out from that because there's only so much you can sell to the people who are interested. You're always looking at a small percentage of people. There's several million people in the valley, down in the Phoenix Valley, the Valley of the Sun. Several million people. You're never going to get all of them to want your stuff. As a crafter, you should be wanting to make your connections, do your business in a responsible and ethical manner, and get your enjoyment and life purposes and goals out of it and stuff, and not try to saturate the market and make people buy what they don't want to buy. So you're going to have that like 0.5%. 0.5% of the people who go to the craft show are going to be interested in your stuff. And that's fine. You just have to have a population or a changing population. The way you do that is to travel around and go boom, 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 boom. Different shows, different cities, different locations. You do build repeat customers, whether it's knives or jewelry or wooden bowls or custom shoes, whatever it is, you will actually build repeat customers. They are the 20% that's going to make everything really nice for you, 20% of your paying customers. But you also need to have more than just as what's in your small town or your one farmer's market for that. You need to go to more than one farmer's market, at least. So we have this, metro area thing. So I have this friend, and he's working on this as a kind of a retirement thing. It's very free because it's very independent and very mobile. But he's not a very independent person. And his keeping track of the goal, this idea, is very difficult for him at times. We talk about this occasionally, and I push a little bit just because it's the nature of how things work between us. And, sometimes you need a little push. Sometimes you don't. Feel free to ignore it. Right now, he's in the midst of a set of social, he's got a social atmosphere. The social atmosphere has changed his set of goals, but he doesn't know it, okay? He no longer, for example, he's looking at some shows that conflict with social activities. Shows are on the weekends. Social activities are on the weekends because most people work a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, whatever. So if you're going to do shows, you need to be willing to work your social activities into the week evenings, the weeknights, the mornings. Go do dance class and be social there. Whatever it is that you're doing, meditation class, go be social there. Having to rely on specifically verboten, like these weekends you cannot do things because of social stuff, especially when the social stuff isn't mandatory. Well, that's interfering with your goals. So you have to look at your goals and figure out what is actually important. It's okay to change. It's totally fine to drop your dreams and get new ones, But let's just, if you're going to be happier staying in town and grabbing a part-time job, night shift at a gas station, and then having the weekends off, or having parts of the weekends off, and not traveling, not doing the long drives, not doing any of the stuff, so that you can have the social group be the important goal of your life, that's okay. I'm not built so that I need to dedicate myself to a social environment. Like, I really like people. I really like social environments. I love clubs and groups and things, and I'm very transient with them. Like, I like when they're not full-time. Like, there's a group a cola group that I hang out with a lot, off and on. But the events are spaced out. They're not mandatory. You go to 1 or 2 a year, or you go to 1 a year, or you skip 2 years because of life, and that's okay. There's a group. It's a dispersed, nationwide, very low-key group. You can go visit. Not everyone likes everyone. It's for all walks of life. It's very, very weirdly inclusive for what is ostensibly a right-wing group. It's just because it involves camping and stuff, and shooting and stuff. Target shooting and camping. Very right-wing, because apparently it's not urban left, whatever. I don't know. It's labeled as right-wing, so. So you've got that, and it's very dispersed, it's very variable. It's very easy for me to walk away for a year and then get back in touch. Because I'm a very highly erratic person that way. I do like things. Like, I like my motorcycle group that I used to be a part of, but there's stuff that other people's importances, other people's mandates, the stuff in the group has to work with my goals, not replace my goals. Now, my friend, he's got it a little differently. He's had a lot of lack of attention in his life, so he gets into social environments and he's very, very expansive. He talks a lot, and if you're with him and he knows your stories, he's going to tell your stories for you when you start, because he wants to be heard. He needs attention. He's lacked that a lot in his life, so you kind of have to dance around his stuff if you want to be gracious and nice to him. But there's a need there. There's kind of a need thing, and he's got it where the social environment will replace his importances. So there's nothing wrong with that, but here's the key. This is what the video is really about. It's important to recognize your goals, if you have more than one, where the conflict points are, where the deflection points are, and change your goals or your behaviors to suit what you actually want. If your bliss is being part of a group and being in that group and dedicated to that group, that's okay. Go get a nighttime gas station job, stay in town, don't leave. Do the crafty thing as a hobby on the side, go online, do the occasional show, 2 or 3 shows a year, 4 shows a year. But don't try to make your retirement out of it if you're not willing to go do it. Because you have to get out there and have the big weekends to keep the money flowing in if you're doing the money's thing. People often worry about the money thing. This is why you have retirement plans like this that involve some income. So there's that. The key point to remember is to change your goals when you need to. If things are changing, and I go through this. I'm going through this right now. I'm very much in the moment, in my environment here, working, building stuff, laying the flagstone, doing all the stuff. But I also know that I'm willing to drop this entire property and sell it in a heartbeat if things go that way. And I have a different path to take, like opportunity in the universe and stuff, but I'm going to make this as useful, pretty, valuable, fun, satisfying as I can and get my bliss through the action and the work and right action and doing all my stuff. So it's okay to change your goals. That's the point. It's okay to change your goals. I would suggest that you recognize when your goals are changing. Take stock once in a while. You listening to this are probably not doing the semi-retirement, this is a goal thing, and trying to tie yourself to something. But you have things that you're tied to. You have jobs, you have relationships, you have bills, you have phone plans, you have apartment or mortgage or whatever. Stuff that you're tied to that you have the option to change if you want to. And if something else is important, okay, let's just say, for example, another person I know, he's a younger male, okay, in his 20s, but he really, really likes a martial art that he's doing. He wants to dedicate himself to that. He is a sleeping on the mat kind of person. He will go visit somewhere and be like, I will clean the dojo, sleep on the mats, take a couple classes before I go back to my home school in the Bay, that kind of thing. Very dedicated. His life, he's doing it. He has changed everything. He changed where he lived. He changed where he works. He changed his schedule. Everything revolves around his goal. His primary goal is mastery of a martial art. Growth in a martial art. And if that changes, that changes. But he's moved. He's changed jobs. He's done everything to do that. If your goal is changing, change your behaviors to match the goal. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. This is the big deal. People have a problem with meshing everything together. And sometimes you just have to drop things. Sometimes you just have to be like, yeah, I can do the 5-year plan to sell my business and whatever. Sometimes you just need to drop it, okay? Your life and your bliss is more important than the exact optimal decision. This is kind of like having kids. You're never ready to have kids. No matter what preparations you do, you're never ready. It's best to just have them when you have them instead of trying to plan it out into your 50s to be like, have the perfect life and then have kids or whatever crazy thing people are doing. And people are waiting literally into their 40s and 50s to think about start having kids. That's just weird. I say that, and I started in my 30s, but I was in a mental position where that was just the right time for me as a father to have kids. So that's the thing. If your goals are changing, change your behaviors. Prepare stuff to get to be mobile, be agile, be agile. If you're tied it to something where you literally cannot change your life because you're tied to this, you really need to fix that. And once again, I'm being prescriptive here. You need to fix that. You need to fix that. You need that to have your freedom and your bliss. Or you need to be willing to drop and go if that's really what happens. Or you need to be willing to accept and allow the process that you're engaged in and reframe your goals to what's actually going on. It all works. Anything works, but goals match behavior. Goals match what you're doing. Figure out the goals. Figure out what you're doing. Figure out the goals. Figure out what you're doing. This is harmony. This is how you live in harmony with yourself. Okay? Figure it out and have the behaviors match. And it's okay if your goals change constantly. You just have to be a little more agile. A little more agility if you're a very changeable person. You know, I spent a lot of my life never living anywhere for more than, say, 3 years. And then the family thing, and I lived somewhere for 10 years, and it's I'm done with that, you know. I love this property, and I'd like to keep it for a while, but I'd sell it tomorrow if it happened. It's not important, you know. If the money and the travel and everything worked out so that I had this sitting here to come back to every winter or every summer or every 2 months or whatever, that would be fine too. Allow everything to be possible, and that it helps increase your agility. Anyway, big point here. If your goals are changing, change your behaviors to match your goals, because you need to be satisfied with your life. You need to promote your own well-being and your bliss. So, take stock. If you find yourself resisting what you want to do or what you've set out to do, why are you resisting? Have things changed? Behaviors to match the goal. Change your behaviors, change your habits, change your mental talk, change your actions, whatever, to meet your actual goal. Figure out what the goal is. And if the goal is something that is missing inside you, figure out if you can fill that up some other way. That's a big, different topic, you know. Is your goal actually your goal, or is it a need that you can fix? That's another question for another video. Stay sideways and make your goals, make your behaviors match your goals. Make your goals important enough that your behaviors mesh.